Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So today I decided I would film a little tutorial. Because things in my makeup game have been changing drastically and how I like to apply things and what techniques I'm using, so I kind of went in depth here on that. And B, because I posted a look on our Instagram, I'll insert it right over here, of me wearing a look that I did with the Tropic palette from Natasha Denona. And you know, this is what she looks like. But I got a comment saying that they would love to have a tutorial on it because they feel when they use this palette they're kind of stuck in a box. They don't have a lot of options. They have trouble creating looks with this. And I don't. I do personally stick down to these bottom rows a lot. Mainly the shimmers down here are my favorites, but all of these shades are just gorgeous. And I really like this palette. I know not everybody does, but for me this works pretty well. So if you're interested to see how I got this look and what kind of techniques I've been changing up recently, then just keep on watching. Starting with a Morphe M518 brush. This is a just like kind of a larger fluffy brush, not super precise, not super giant. I'm going to go in with the shade Xena right here, which is the lavender color. This is a mainly shimmer look, but I like to have this, or this is kind of just what I put down the first time I created this look to, I don't know, figure out what I wanted to do, because I really think this color is gorgeous. But I put this down kind of as a base shade. I'm going to be winging it out a bit at the end of my eye because this is going to be a little more of a winged out look. And I'm going to take this pretty high up over here. Okay, and then now that I have that initial purple laid down, I mean, it's not supposed to be the most blended, honestly, because we will be putting shimmer on top of this, so it's not going to be like the most seamless, gorgeous blend you've ever seen in your life. I don't honestly think it matters that much, but this is kind of the base that we're gonna start out with. And then I'm going to go in with a small fluffy brush. This one is my favorite. This is the Morphe M507. It looks like this. And I'm going to be jumping into the deepest blue here called Tiger Lily. It's the deep metallic blue right here. And this is going to be where you're going to want to work in layers. So you want to start out with some of the blue and just place it on and kind of blend it over here. We're not worried too much about the pigment as of yet, like how rich it's going to be, because it is going to translate to be as deep as it is in the pan later on, but I'm going to focus that first on the outer corner. And right now my goal is just to make sure that looks blended and to make sure that that is evenly distributed through the outer corner of my eye. Please focus. Thank you so much. Okay, and now that we have that distributed all over, I am going to go back in with that purple shade that we started with, and I'm going to soften the edges a little bit. Sorry, I'm filming in natural lighting, so it goes in and out. Okay, and here is where we're going to want to focus on adding more pigment, more depth with that same blue shade. I might go in, I don't remember if I added a black the first time around. I might have just at the very outer corner. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pinky finger and I'm going to rub it into that shade. I'm going to pack it right out here, so it has more opacity. And I'm going to keep flicking it over here. I just find this is the best way to work with these shimmers if you're using them as shimmers, is with the finger. This isn't my favorite of Natasha's formulas, but it is my favorite of her color stories, so it makes it a little sad. But this, it does get hard pan quite quickly, so I don't necessarily recommend like a wet brush, but then I will be taking my brush that we had the blue on again and blending out the edges of that so it's not like super harsh or anything. And honestly, this look is gonna look worse before it gets better, so just, you're gonna have to bear with me here. So I probably will towards the end add some black down here, but it's not a necessary step if you find that this is enough depth for you. So what I am going to do next is I'm going to take the shade Mint Frost right here. I generally prefer this with a glitter glue, but I did not grab one over from my makeup desk, so I'm not going to be doing that. So I'm gonna place that on my lid with my finger, like so. And I'm not worried about how messy it is. Most of my shimmery looks anyway, I like to have a little more blown out. So I'm gonna press that so it kind of blends up a little bit, like so. And then I'm going to kind of flick it over here to meet the blue. And this is like my absolute favorite shade. It's just so stunning. Okay, and now here's what we're looking like. So I feel that that looks okay, but what I really wanted to do the first time and what really kind of pulled it together for me was to use the shade Exotic, which is that green right here. This is the hardest shade to work with in the palette just because of the formula. It's a gorgeous color, but it does not pick up very well, whether that's with finger or brush. So you really do have to build this one. I do use my finger with it most of the time. If I do use a brush, I use it dry, and it has to be kind of like a scratchy brush almost to pick up that color. Dragging that along, and then I'm gonna take another finger and just flick that Mint Frost shade into it like so. Take some of the shade Peach Puff over here just to add a little bit of warmth up there, because I think that'll help tie in the Tropic vibe. And I am gonna focus some of Peach Puff mixed with Nudist, these two like peachy pinks up here, and I'm gonna flick it up into the brow like this, which looks a little crazy at first, but I promise it makes the whole thing come together once everything else is on. I should use mainly Peach Puff for that. I used too much Nudist. And then I'm going to go back in with Mint Frost just to make sure that didn't get covered by those pinky shades that we used. And notice I'm not worried about like where that is sitting anywhere. I just want it blown out everywhere. Okay, to take a little, or add a little bit more of a punch, I am gonna grab a matte black. This is just one from ABH. And I'm just gonna take it right on the outermost corner and smudge it a little bit, not even winging it out too much, just adding the depth right next to the lash line, right at the very base here. And then taking the brush that we had the blue on and buffing that right around it to diffuse it a little more. I'm gonna tightline a bit with the NYX Faux Black Liner in, what do you call it, Onyx. It's just kind of like a charcoaly gray color. I find it goes really well with this whole vibe. Yeah, and then I'm going to do the other eye real quick, and then I'll be back to kind of show you the lower lash line. Alright, sorry about the hold there, we're back in business. I forgot to mention I do have my eyes primed with the Morphe Eyelid Primer. That's just what works for me. You can use whatever primer that you find works, but I like that one quite a lot. So for my lower lash line, I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I am going to go in with Tiger Lily, that deep blue, on that same brush, and drag it inward, like so. Then I'm gonna take Mint Frost and put it right there, kind of where it corresponds on the top. And then I'm gonna blend the blue into that, because honestly I was too lazy to add the green there the first time around. And then for my inner corner, I took a mix of this color. I don't know what it's called. I like to call it Lemangelo. I know that's not what it's called, like Limoncello. That's what it looks like, but I don't know. I call it that. And then I mixed that one with Mint Frost, which is what we have all over the lid. So that it makes kind of a greeny yellow kind of color. Probably need a little more yellow in there. And for my inner corner highlight, I like to kind of bring it everywhere. That's why I use a fluffy brush. I just think it looks really gorgeous blown out like this. Maybe a little too far down there, but that'll get fixed up with concealer. A rare day that I show you how I do my brows, but they have changed so much in how I do them. I do the easiest thing possible. So I take the Benefit Foolproof Brow Powder. This is in the shade 5. And then I take a fluffy brush like this. This one's like a denser fluffy brush. This is from Real Techniques. And there is no name on it, but it looks like this. And I just shuffle it around in both of the colors. And I literally smudge my brows like this. I saw this on Instagram from a girl I follow. If I can find who it was, I will link her below, because her brows are just to die for. But this is the easiest thing I can do ever. And then I take a spoolie and Got to Be Glued spiking gel. Not a lot of it, but enough that it'll hold my brows. So I just squeeze a little out, and then I like rub it into the spoolie like this so it's evenly distributed, and then I just push my brow hairs up. And that is the easiest way I do my brows, and I think it looks better than every other way I've ever done them, so that's lovely. And then I've talked about this before, but using a concealer before foundation is just what works best for me. This is the Juvia's Place I Am Magic concealer. I do not like this concealer, and I don't recommend it, but this is what I will be using because I'm trying to use it up. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that here. I am gonna take a little bit down here just because I got some redness. And I'm just going to use a damp sponge to blend that out. Normally I would use my Becca under eye corrector, but at the moment it's too far away from me, so I'm just going to deal with the fact that my under eyes are going to look dry and crusty from this concealer. What concealers I do recommend though would be the Kokie Be Bright concealer, or the Huda Beauty Overachiever, ColourPop Pretty Fresh. Those are all really great. This one, not so much. It's just very, very dry. With this concealer, because it has so much coverage, it does spread nicely as far as what I find is enough coverage for me. Since I don't love the most heavy coverage look, I can spread it to the areas that I have a little bit of redness if I feel that I need to cover those up a little more. And it just works so, so well for me. Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Tint in, what are you, Nude 40, and the ColourPop Pretty Fresh in Fair 1N. This has been my favorite combo as of late. Yeah, the ColourPop one is a little too light for me, and then the Neutrogena one is a little too dark, but wow, do they look incredible together. It's just like a match made in heaven. They're both lighter coverage, they're both like skin tint type products, but Lord in heaven, do they look great. Too close, so I just pounce that in with my sponge. As per usual, nothing new here. And I hate when foundation gets on my lips, but not enough to actually do anything about it, so there's that. Yeah, and then I just get the most gorgeous light coverage, glowy finish. It's a little more matte because of that stupid concealer, but it's fine. It's like a very healthy finish. I just think it looks so nice. And lately I have been changing up how I do like my my sculpting products, my bronzer, my contour, my blush. So I have been taking, well, this isn't new, Natasha Denona Sculpting Glow, my favorite thing ever. So I've been taking that, the cream portion of it anyway. I just stamp it and I focus most of the color up. And I'll bring a little bit down, but mainly I want it to be just at this top part of my cheek and near my eyeshadow. I find it lifts my face in just the most flattering way. That's where I've been applying the most blush too, because I'm a heavy blush applier. If you're new here, I'm a heavy bronzer and blush applier, but specifically blush I always wear so much of because I just think it's so gorgeous. But up here it really gives kind of like a blush draping effect, and then it lifts your face so gorgeously. I don't know why. I tap some of this over the nose, not like a contour way, but just for the slightest added bit of color. And I am, just because I can and you're not the boss of me, I'm gonna take some of my Flower Beauty Blush Balm and Cinnamon. I mix about 3 to 5 blushes together on the daily. I'm not gonna lie. If you look at my Instagram and it says that I'm wearing a blush, it's wrong. I'm not. I'm wearing multiple because I like to mix the tones. I like to mix the finishes. I love to mix products. I'm that girl. I'm Samantha Ravendall, except with foundation, blush, bronzer, concealer, anything. I love to mix to get my desired finish and all that stuff. So the blush combo I've been wearing as of late has been those Flower Beauty blush bombs, and then the ColourPop Growth Flirt Super Shock Cheek. It's like this beautiful rosy toned kind of pink. And then my Diamond and Blush palette from Natasha, but specifically just the powder blush and sometimes some of this cream shade here. Before I do any blush though, I am going to go in with some powder bronzer, Wet n Wild Ticket to Brazil, because I'm trying to use this up and because I like it quite a lot and I need some powder bronzer in my life, so I'm just going to tap that over those areas. so, and then over the nose, like so. And so I'm gonna take Growth Flirt from ColourPop. And I like to take both of these on a like a domed, like denser brush. Like this could be used as like a foundation brush. I like to take quite a bit of it. I like to like load it up and try to evenly distribute it as much as possible. If I need to, I'll like work it on the back of my hand to give me that more even effect. And then I just stamp it up here and like towards my temples. So I want most of it to be kind of connected to this outer corner of my eye. And then along the temples, and then I will blend it down into like my contour, bronzer, stitch, whatever I felt like doing that day. And this blush is super gorgeous, but I like to have a little more vibrancy to my blush. A little bit, you know, you see this hair? I need some vibrancy. So even on that same brush, I am going to take the powder blush in here. I'm going to load that up, and then I'm going to stamp it still. I just find that gives the most like gorgeous, springy, bright pink flush ever without, even though it is overboard and it does look overboard, it's very intentional in how it's applied, and I think that makes it a little more wearable, I guess. Or I mean, I guess my version of wearable is a little different than most people, so I don't really know, but yeah, I really like to add quite a bit of that up here. And then I do like to stamp it over the nose as well. I know not everybody's into the nose blush thing, but I very much am. And then I make sure that over here is still like blank right here, like right in the center of my face where my apples are, my smile, my apples. I want that to be pretty clear. I'm just gonna highlight while I'm here with the same, or with a highlighter that's in this palette. This is the, what do you call it? The Glow Extreme. I can never read this. And because I didn't grab a highlighting brush, I'm just gonna take the end of this one that I used earlier. I do prefer to highlight before blush, but I forget 99% of the time, so here we are. But I can always blend the blush in, should it become a problem, you know? Ain't no thing. To add it above the brows. This is not new, but I like to bathe and highlight in a sense. I do also really like taking like over top of this blush combo. This is what I've been wearing a lot. I've been taking the Makeup Revolution Incandescent Highlight Quad and adding the deepest shimmery highlight over top of my blush just for some more glow, because I think it looks really good. So I guess I might as well do something similar to that now. I'm gonna take the Duo Glow powder right here. It's like a purple gold kind of shift. I don't know why it looks good on the cheeks, but it does. It just does. It shouldn't, because it's a weird color and it's ridiculously shiny, but I think it looks very, very, very nice. So the technique I've been liking a lot for my lips, and this is gonna be very like hit or miss as to whether or not you find this to be flattering on you, but for me, my lips are a big feature of mine. They are one of my main focal points. Like when people notice me, aside from like my hair or my bright eyeshadow, they're like, wow, you have big lips. I'm like, yeah, blessed, you know? So I like to really amp those up. And this is kind of new for me. I'm not used to doing this a lot. I like a sheer kind of wash of color, or I like something a little bold like this. So I take a lip liner that's quite dark. So this one is Rimmel and Spice. And then I overline the crap out of my lips to whatever shape you find is flattering. I normally mess it up, but you know. I wipe when I need to. I really do underline the bottom quite a bit, only because I don't care what that looks like. But above here, I like to do it quite rounded, kind of in the center area, not in like a bubble. I still have kind of my lip line, but I make that a lot larger. There we go. So it looks a little more like that. So what I'll then do is I'll fill in the sides a little bit. And once that's done, I'm looking crazy. But what you can do is you can set your lip liner with a powder eyeshadow. So I never did this type of technique, this like overlined darker lip line technique, mainly because when it would wear off, it would wear off in such an unflattering way because I would have a lot of lip liner and no lipstick in the middle, and I just thought it looked hideous. So Rachel was telling me about, she saw somebody say set your lip liner, so I'm just gonna take Cocoa from this palette. And when you set it down, it really doesn't budge. It's the same thing as like when you set your face. I don't do that because ew, but you know. And this will change the tone of the lip liner a little bit, unless you have a shadow that perfectly matches it. Another way I like to use eyeshadow on my lips is either I can pat a little shimmer over it, so like a shimmer shadow to do like a monochromatic look, or if I have a lipstick that is a hot pink, but it's not quite the hot pink that I have on my eyes and I want it to match more, then I can use a hot pink shade on my lips, like a matte. And I mean, it'll be dry, but it will match and it'll look a lot better. It still looks crazy, but at least the crazy will stay in place. So that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm then gonna take, this has just been the lip combo I've been gravitating towards, Kat Von D Bow and Arrow. I know, Kendo or KVD, I don't know what it's called anymore, but I got this in a BoxyCharm and I've been secretly using it for a while, so. So I take that along the outskirts, like so. And I'm gonna take my finger to blend it in so that the lip line isn't quite as harsh. And then you still have that kind of pouty effect. If you want to amp it up the extra mile, like I happen to at the moment, you can take a lighter lipstick. This one is ColourPop in Boy. This is a very, very pale nude, and it doesn't look so pale on my hand because my hand is super pale, but I promise on the lips, like next to these colors, it looks basically white. So add this in the center. Another kind of product I like to use for this would be like Maybelline Vivid Hot Lacquer and Tease, Wet n Wild Liquid Catsuit, like gloss kind in Caught You Bare Naked. So not only will it lighten this up a bit and give you a more like full look effect, it will cool down the lip color a little more, because that lip liner I put on was quite red. And depending on my mood, I will add like a gloss in the center. My favorite, even after we've slandered it, is the Fenty Beauty Diamond Milk Gloss Bomb. That is like so stunning. I love that one to pieces. So there's that. Another technique I've been doing recently is fill freckles. I never thought I would be that girl. Rachel has always been that girl and I've never been that girl. I always think they look stupid, and suddenly I love them. So how I do those is I take this tiny, like a tiny brush like this. This one happens to be the BH Cosmetics number 10. It was from the festival brush brush set. I take the Maybelline Tattoo Studio Brow Gel, and this one happens to be in I don't know, it's a brown one. So I take that just directly from the brush that it comes on, and then I start stamping fairly large dots on my face. Honestly, I'm not a pro at faux freckles. I kind of like them to be obviously fake, which might be strange, but you know, you do you. So I just kind of start stamping sporadically. And this brow gel, or this brow color type thing, is it's a little more dark and it's a little more on the cool tone side. So I will be going in with a brow powder that's a little more on the warm tone side to kind of balance that out a little bit, make them look more natural, quote unquote. I also really like this technique when I'm breaking out, which I'm not breaking out right now, but you really can't tell on camera, but my texture has flared up quite a bit at the moment, and I like to conceal that as much as possible. So if you have smaller breakouts that you're looking to cover up a little more, you can do like a faux freckle technique, and that can look, I think, really cute. But you know, people with freckles like to think they're like friggin', I don't know, oppressed or something. Just dotting those everywhere. You probably, unless I get closer, you can't tell how obvious those are. There you go. The light was kind of washing it out a bit. Put them on the nose and on the forehead. I like to keep it just kind of in this center region. Just dot them everywhere. Not saying this is a realistic like freckle technique by any stretch, but I am gonna take the this is from the Brow Bar. It's their True Glam Brow Makeover Kit in Light. I think we got this in a BoxyCharm at some point, but the middle shade in here, oh, if I can open it, this one right here is really, really great for faux freckles because that has a lot of warmth to it, so it looks a little more bronzy. And then I stamp that throughout the more dark tones that we have already. So it looks a little something like this. I will then take normally a cleaner side of my sponge and gently press over that to try and make it look a little less obvious. But again, I'm not trying to say this looks natural by any stretch. Do I have lip liner on my face, or am I still just red? I don't know. Yeah, and then I just kind of do a once over with my sponge. And generally, at the end of everything, I will add more blush. Because I am a raging lunatic. So I am gonna take a little bit more over the nose and a little more up here, because there is, in my opinion, there is no such thing as too much blush. I said it. But I think it looks so cute. Sometimes a little on the chin, a little on the forehead right here, just to kind of bring it all together, but nothing crazy. So now this is the point where we add mascara. I will just let you know my favorite mascara combo right now. The best mascara combo, the one that works for me without fail every time, is first my Tweezerman lash curlers. These are just the rose gold because they're like really cute, but these are the best lash curlers. Then I take L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Primer. This is a must-have. NYX Worth the Hype mascara. Does not freaking budge, doesn't flake, doesn't transfer. It adds some volume, which I need. And then Maybelline Lash Sensational. This is an OG of mine, and I think it's just perfection. So I'm gonna slap this on real quick, and then we'll be back and, you know, done. All right, and here's what it looks like with mascara on. You can feel free to add falsies if that's something you want to do, but I have completely given up on falsies, basically. I'm going to try some individuals on the outer corner because I think that would look really nice, but yeah, I think this looks fine with just mascara. So by no means do you need to add falsies to this, but yeah, this is the completed look. So I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you've changed your makeup techniques at all, if things have shifted for you like they have for me. It might be the weather change, I don't might be quarantine, I don't know what the heck it is, but things have been changing. So yeah, let me know what you think of the look, and I hope to see you in our next video. Bye.